called it the Great Healing Spring in the mountains, and they were talking about Basin Spring, which is down in the middle of town.
Right.
The Indians brought their people from as far away as what is now Canada
To use the springs?
to use the spring. They called it the Great Healing Spring in the mountains.
Wow.
And when they got well, eventually a white man heard about it. So they all came in covered wagons, and they parked right there on the side of that steep hill where the water came out. Because you see, in the beginning,
people did find here what they needed. It was a different kind of need perhaps in those days, but today people still find that this is a very special place, and they relate to it, each person, each individual, out of their own need.
Before any buildings were built whatsoever, Eureka Springs was a mystical place for the Indians. This was sacred ground. This is a place where people came to renew themselves spiritually. And that same aura is still here. And people come here for that.
Sally, Eureka Springs is so bright and clean. Thanks for getting me out of the dreary old city.
It's my pleasure.
Sal, do you know much about the history of Eureka Springs? I know this is sort of your home away from home.
Yeah, you know, my parents were married here.
Oh.
Yeah, I came here a lot when I was growing up. They taught me just about everything I know about Eureka Springs.
Would you like to share some of that knowledge?
Well, people came here for the water. It was said to heal what ails you.
That's what I'd heard. How do they use the water? Do they drink it or bathe in it, or...?
Well, actually both. It was pretty common to find people soaking their ailing bodies in one of the springs. And yes, they even drank the water.
Even after the other folks had bathed in it?
No, Scott, I'm sure it was a separate spring. As a matter of fact, one of the most important early industries in Eureka Springs was that of water shipment.
You mean they bottled and sold it?
Sure, they shipped it in barrels and 10-gallon kegs.
That's amazing.
You know, the water became known throughout the world. The Carnegie Library even has testimonials from folks who claimed it cured them of asthma, paralysis, just about anything you can think of.
I'll bet the doctor's office wasn't a very busy place in those days.
Well, that's what I thought, but with all the health seekers pouring in, it did create a demand for doctors. Actually, there were about 30 practicing physicians in 1880.
How did all those people get to Eureka Springs?
Well, about 100 people a day were arriving by stagecoaches, and you know, later 6 trains a day arrived with ailing passengers. You know, one train even served the water in one of its dining cars en route to Eureka.
With the migration to Eureka, I guess it became sort of a boom town back then, huh?
Yeah, you know, I think around 1880 it was about the 4th largest city in Arkansas. Colorful characters, too. Enterprising businessmen flocked in as well. For instance, the walking cane business boomed in Eureka Springs.
Dear, how about a walk by the spring?
Lovely.
In a town that I say is just looks like it's floated up out of an iceberg and has been thawed out. It was been miraculously preserved. And that's why people fall in love with Eureka Springs, is the town is so quaint and, you know, it's so charming and it's so uncarnivalized.
and then we still cling to our little town feeling of being friendly to people and inviting them in and all of those
Eureka
things.
Springs itself is a product of a particular time in American history, and we fit in to a phase of American life, and because of our interest in preservation and restoration, we reflect today so much that was very important and very special to people in that era that we know as now that we call the Victorian era or the late Victorian era. Eureka Springs started in 1879, and it was a sort of overnight sensation.
There's something for everyone here. There's all kinds of entertainment. It's a very beautiful town. There are not very many cities in the entire nation that the entire town is a historic district. I fell in love with Eureka Springs, and I love being here. It's a crazy town in some ways. It's hard to find your way around. You don't turn left or right, you turn up or downhill. It's a walker's town. I enjoy walking. It's one of my favorite hobbies. And there's all kinds of hidden paths that you may have to meet someone who lives here to find out where they are.
Every Sunday now we have a hike. We meet at New Orleans now. People from all over the world go hiking with us, go home talking about the hikes and beautiful scenery around here.
When and where would they meet if they wanted to hike with you?
Well, we meet at the New Orleans Hotel every Sunday at 1:15, leave at 1:30. Snow, sleet, rain or shine.
I can't believe this water. You sure don't find a clear lake like this anymore. Sure wish I brought my fishing pole.
You should see the fish my dad pulled out of here.
I bet there's a few keepers left in here.
In fact, he's even got his mounted on the wall at home.
Talk about a swimming hole. This is incredible.
I knew you'd like it. I want to show you some of the countryside.
This is absolutely gorgeous. It looks so untouched and natural.
You know, I think most of the trees around here are pine and cedar.
You don't have to say that. You can smell them. Now I know why they call it Eureka.
The mystique that Eureka Springs casts upon its inhabitants, not only those who live here full-time, but those who visit here regularly. The more they get enchanted by Eureka's mystique, the more they have to come here.
I mean, here we have a town of 2,000 people that 1.5 million visitors a year come to, and there is something, some atmosphere that really attracts people, and people totally respond to it.
Rock stars, movie stars, great authors, great artists. Everyone comes to Eureka Springs because someone told them they should come here. And so they do. And that's the greatest draw to Eureka, is its reputation by word of mouth.
And it's a feeling of neighborhood and closeness with people, and the smallness of the town, that even if you get angry with someone, you have to make up because you see them every day.
Oh, yeah. Great.
At our table for two, in our Ozark rendezvous, we'll break bread with a view of the sky. You and I. At our table for two, with a splendid view all new, we'll share our favorite wine as we dine, you and I. We can laugh, we can talk, disappear for a walk in the pine, leave the world behind, you and I.
It's amazing how many excellent restaurants Eureka Springs has for such a small town.
Isn't it great?
Boy, there's certainly no lack of hospitality around here. It's sort of a come join us type of attitude.
I know, that's Eureka.
Hey, Hey, Sal, can we check out a few of the studios and galleries and then maybe go through some of the shops?
Oh, yeah, great. That's one of my favorite things to do in Eureka. Artists and craftsmen have come from everywhere to live in this town.
I have a particular interest in our local hardwoods, and very, very rarely do I use anything that hasn't grown within 40 or 50 miles of here. I love to use different woods like this special spalted maple on the front of this. The beautiful patterning on this chest comes from natural decay. Little dovetails are hand cut, and I get a lot of satisfaction out of doing the handwork on it. This inlay is one of the trademarks of my work.
The celestial wind carillons are the culmination of 7 years of research into the concept of natural music. I've been a lifelong lover of wind chimes and nature, and when I thought of the idea of making a tuned musical wind chime, I looked around first to see if I could find one, to buy one, just to have in my environment. And when there was none to be found, it seemed like a good quest to go on.
We opened our gallery here in town just about 3 years ago now, and I used to do my throwing here at the shop. I started off by having my potter's wheel set up in the corner, and I'd do my clay work here, and then I'd load it all in the car when it was dry and take it home and fire it. Oh, I spend maybe 20% of my working time with sculptures, and I'd like to spend more time sculpting, although pottery making is something that keeps me busier.
What kind of things do you weave? I've noticed the murals up here.
Tapestries, yeah, are my main interest, and that's what I prefer to do. But I do everything but placemats. I don't do
Including
placemats.
the chairs you're sitting in.
Right.
I know. Everything in the studio is woven. This is really fantastic.
Sal, what was the name of that gallery where some of the local artists have their works on display?
Oh, you're thinking the Morrison Woodward Gallery.
Was that it?
Yeah, I think it's on Spring Street. You know, about 50 local and regional artists show their work there. Some of them are even nationally known. I love to go there and look at Susan Morrison's pen and ink drawings.
Nah, I think I'm thinking of the one that had Eureka in the name.
Oh, I know. You're thinking of the Eureka Art Company.
That's it.
Yeah, they have a lot of glass and ceramic work. How about a train ride, Scott?
Sounds great, but I gotta get something to eat first.
No problem, unless you have objections to gourmet dining.
You know the answer to that one, Sal Gal.
Great, we'll eat on the train. And then after that, I'll treat you to an Ozark Mountain hoedown.
Yeehaw!
Come on.
Sorry. I keep hearing people talk about the Passion Play. What's that?
Well, it's an outdoor play based on the life of Jesus. You want to go?
I'd love to.
He is coming! I can see him!
Is it the great prophet, the miracle worker?
It is Jesus! He comes!
Blessings on him who comes in the name of the Lord.
Who is this? Who is coming?
This is Jesus, the prophet of Nazareth of Galilee.
It is the man who raised Lazarus from the dead.
Let us through, we must see him!
Hosanna!
Hosanna to the Son of David! Hosanna to the heavens!
Blessings on him who comes.
Isn't this gorgeous?
Mm-hmm.
This is Thorn Crown Chapel. I remember when it was being built. It's amazing the bed and breakfast inns are so charming and cozy, and yet the food is known for being very sophisticated.
The food is excellent, and the hosts are wonderful. I feel right at home here. Oh, entree time.
I'm not finished my apple.
That's okay. Well, we can save your own apple for later. I want this. Wow. That really holds its shape real well.
And if you wait just a moment, I will bring you some homemade jam and jelly. And bed and breakfast, of course, means that breakfast is included in the cost of a night's stay. But there's a greater indicatory meaning, which is generally it's in an old or historically distinct house. We have two facilities. We have an 1880s farmhouse and a more recent cottage.
Somewhere the wind is blowing through an open cabin with a splendid view. West of Berryville, north of Fayetteville, I dreamed that I built a fire there, right next to my easy chair, without a care, music in the air, surrounded by the mountain sun, played music till the day was done, just for fun, for me and everyone. The candle she carried reflected a face that hinted of innocence, chiseled with grace, on her way to the back door to let in the snow. I wanted to love her, so I told her so. I thought she should know.
There are 5 historic hotels in town: the Crescent, the Basin Park, the Grand Central, the New Orleans, and the Palace. A lot of the hotels have been renovated in the last few years with history intact.
I pick up this from people constantly, that they have a feeling about this community. They find here satisfaction, but in the context of a visit, they pick up on a feeling that seems to be Eureka Springs.
Was Eureka Springs what you were expecting it to be?
I don't think anyone could have been prepared for this, Sally. Eureka Springs is a fabulous place.
You know, we didn't even get to see everything. I guess you just can't see it all in one weekend. There were a lot of places I wanted to show you.
Well, we'll just have to come back sometime.
I'm ready when you are.
All right, but next time let's plan to stay a bit longer, okay?
Yeah, let's.
I was dreaming about a place I'd go when I was a boy, a place my parents took me to. It was off somewhere in Arkansas in the Northwest Forest, somewhere on Highway 62. I remember a white river and mountains of green, bordering the town where I found all the mineral springs. I remember a castle setting high on a hill, calling me to take a key, and I probably will. Eureka, Eureka, I found it. Eureka, there ain't no way around it. I've been and I've seen, the air is so clean. Eureka's no longer a dream. Eureka Spring like a diamond ring that hides in the rough. Speaking for me is plain to see that I can't get enough of the warmth of the shop owners all displaying their goods, and the bed and the breakfast and the train in the woods. Eureka, Eureka, I found it. Eureka, there ain't no way around it. I've been and I've seen, the air is so clean. Eureka's no longer a dream. Eureka, Eureka, I found it. Eureka, there ain't no way around it. I've been and I've seen, the air is so clean. Eureka's no longer